All right, everybody, welcome into the High Noon Stream here on the Radio Misfits podcast platform. I am Pugs Moran, your humble host of these streams that happen every Monday through Friday, noon till about 2 o'clock in the afternoon or so. Maybe a little bit earlier, maybe a little bit later sometimes. But what this show is all about, the daily stream, is topics. Hot topics, trending topics, headlines. If it's something people are talking about, if it's just, whatever is happening in the world today, I try and bring it to you here. We don't do divisive political stuff. We don't do, hold on, kids here. Where you going?
Want to get a charger?
Well, why don't you put some clothes on? Why don't you put some clothes? Oh, my God. Okay. All right. Little aside, my 13-year-old son is here, and he's lounging in we do the show, for those of you who are unfamiliar, from what I like to call the one percenter compound, the guest house, the Comfort Nest guest house here, high above the one percenter compound in beautiful downtown Highland Park, Texas. And we share a property. We have the studio and the residence that I reside in here in the back of the property. And then in the front of the property is a main house. So my son has just left the guest house property to walk over to the main house to ask Ed, incoming Ed, to ask Ed if he has a charger that he might be able to borrow, because my son's having to. And he went over there in his underwear, just in his underwear. No, apparently my son is 100% comfortable with his Uncle Ed, because he's just walking around in his underwear. All right. This show is about topics. Then we do a second show every night at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. We call that Pillow Talk. That is Pugs and Parker, myself and James Parker. Pugs and Parker proudly present Pillow Talk. That's more conversational. We spend a little bit of, it's silly. It's a little bit more less structured. As I say, this show, the Monday through Friday show, very structured. You know what you're going to get here. You're going to get topics. So there you have it. Now you're all full up. What happened here? Ed has taken over my computer. And what's wrong? Oh no, I don't know. Was something wrong? Was something not sounding right? Hi, Joel. Joel's in the chat room. Kenny's in the chat room. Leslie's in the chat room. Melissa, hi, Pugs. Hi, everyone. Elle's here. Okay. Oh, what? Oh, look at this. Byron's not here, so it's Adam. Adam taking over the ball-busting. Look at these two. Adam and Byron, two completely different individuals who do nothing but fight with one another in the chat room. You could probably mix Jeff Glenn into that, too. All they do is fight, and now look at them. They're like two peas in a pod. One guy is absent. One guy can't slam me for being a little bit late today. His arch rival, his nemesis, jumps right in. Sally's here. Hi, Sally. Hi, Taronda. JBM is here. Okay, good. It looks like everybody's filling up. Hey, first of all, let me just say this before we get into what today is all about. Take a sip of coffee. Thank you. We were a little bit late today coming on because at 11:59, my son goes, "Hey, where's my cell phone charger?" I'm like, he probably didn't say cell phone charger. That seems like something an old man like me would call it, right? He probably just said, "Where's my phone charger?" So I spent a good 7 minutes looking for it. How we doing? You get something? It was on the kitchen counter. Well, apologize to all the fine viewers for me being 7 minutes late because I had to tear the place apart looking for your cell phone charger that you left over in the big house.
You left it.
Okay, I left it. Sure. All right, love you. Okay. Where was I? Oh, yesterday, birthday. Thank you all so much. I have to get, I don't do Facebook much, but I have to get over to Facebook and, you got to do the thing. You got to thank everybody. And so many of you were so kind. Yeah. Happy birthday, Pugs. All those nice things. So thank you so much. And to the people who used it as an opportunity to donate, because the show does run on your tips, does run on your gratuities. It is the end of the month. I do like to push at the end of the month. Haven't been pushing all that much because it's summer. And, look, a lot of people are in different schedules, so you just lay off. But we do need a little bit of help this month. So if you can, hit the Venmo, hit the Cash App, all that stuff. And that's the last I'll say of it till the end of the show again. I don't like the business aspect of this to really sort of confront the art of it. The art of it. Oh my God. So here's what we did on my birthday yesterday. Big birthday. It was me. It was just we kept it small. It was just me, the boy, 13, and Ed, who Ed is the boss here at the Radio Misfits podcast platform. Me, Ed, and the boy, we went to Hooters. Yeah, we went to Hooters. I had been craving. I have not been to a Hooters in probably 15 years. And for the last couple of months, for some strange reason, I just been craving Hooters wings. I just want them. Look, full disclosure, the very first buffalo wing that I ever had was a Hooters wing. And I fell in love with buffalo wings the minute I had a Hooters wing. Probably, I don't know, somewhere in the late 80s, early 90s, whenever buffalo wings went. So, I mean, I believe for me, for my palate, and look, everybody makes buffalo wings different, but for my palate, the original breaded hot Hooters buffalo wing is about as good a buffalo wing as you can get. And I've just been craving it. I haven't been to a Hooters in a long time, so I've been craving it for months. And I've been saying we should go to Hooters. I want to go to Hooters. So it was my birthday yesterday, and Ed wanted to take us to Bob's, which is really nice. But I got my kid with me, and Bob's a little expensive for a 13-year-old who honestly also doesn't have the proper attire to go to Bob's. We were gonna run over to Target and maybe get something, but no, my birthday, right? I wanted Hooters. So we went to Hooters. It was great. We had a wonderful night. I appreciate you guys allowing me to take last night off from the Pillow Talk show. We went for a nice night swim after my birthday dinner at Hooters. And then we went to the one in the West End, or I guess as it is now, Victory. We had that conversation yesterday, because when the Hooters in downtown Dallas was built, it was just the West End. That was the only area. There was no Victory. And then Victory was built up around it, and now it seems to have sort of absorbed the House of Blues and the Hooters and Dick's Last Resort, all those things that are in that area. So thank you so much. Also, let me make sure the proper person, this is the last thing, and then we'll get into the show, I promise. Let me make sure here. All right, there's Jeff. So Jeff sent me a birthday present. Yes, he did. Jefferson Glenwright the fourth. He sent me a nice birthday present, and it will be displayed. I don't know if you can see it back there. Look at what Jeff sent me. Jeff sent me an autographed picture of himself. Well, there you go. Listener one. We'll put him. We'll probably display him somewhere where the camera can always see his likeness. We will put that there. All right, there you go. So right over my shoulder, Jeff, you can always see you in that tiny. We'll leave it there. And he also, Jeff is quite the cook. He sent me some kind of spice concoction that he makes, which, if you know me, and I'm a fat guy, and I'm always on a diet, and I have a theory that you can eat absolutely anything if you have the proper spices. So don't tell me that you can't eat broccoli without slathering it in cheddar cheese or whatever. You can eat broccoli if you have the right spices. You can turn that broccoli into anything. And he has sent me Jeff's Badass Jalapeno Dust. I don't know what this is. Let me open it up here. It's not sealed, Jeff. This is not sealed. I opened it. I guess it's when it's made in your garage. It's probably a little bit more difficult to seal it properly. Happy birthday, Pugs. I hope you enjoy this jar of Jeff's Badass Jalapeno Dust made especially for you by yours truly. I carefully select each pepper that goes into every jar of Jeff's Badass Jalapeno Dust. Your jar of Jeff's Badass Jalapeno Dust represents approximately 2 pounds of the finest jalapenos that Kroger has to offer. These peppers are then brought back to the Glenwright kitchens, where I slice them and dry them for 36 hours. After drying, what's going on? You don't bother me. It's a live room. You can come in and out. No. These peppers are then brought back to the Glenwright kitchen, where I slice them and dry them for 36 hours. After drying, I grind them into the fine product you now hold in your hand. There you go. We'll get the label. Labels out. Labels. There you go. All right. Question. How hot is Jeff's badass jalapeno dust? Everyone asks that. The answer, each jar of Jeff's badass jalapeno dust has its own personality, which is a very clever marketing way of saying, there's no recipe. We just kind of is a little different every time. No consistency, but that's fine. The best boutique products have no consistency. They have personality. Each jar of Jeff's badass jalapeno dust has its own personality. Get to know yours slowly. Go lightly until you feel the jar. Go lightly until you get a feel for the jar. Maybe start with a light sprinkle on some eggs. Try some on a piece of fish. I'm not a big fish eater, but grilled chicken or even pizza. Before you know it, you'll be enjoying Jeff's badass jalapeno dust on everything. I love it on biscuits and gravy. Again, I hope you had a wonderful birthday and that you'll spice it up with some of Jeff's Turn it. Wait, if I go this way. Why is everything opposite? I hate that it's opposite. Okay. Jeff's badass jalapeno dust. Sincerely, Jefferson Glenwright IV. P.S. I also included a little something to brighten up your studio every day. That would be the picture of Jeff that I have here. All right, let's give it a taste. Let's. How does it go? How's it taste on finger? Because that's pretty much how I'm going to have to. Yeah, just because I don't want to mess this up. All right, giving it. Whoa! Jeff gave that a smell. Hi, Cheryl. Hi from Canada. Gave that a smell. Okay. All right. I just gave it a second. It triggered it. It triggered my sneezing. Now I'm going to sneeze. I just gave it. Yeah. Okay. Oh boy. All right. So let me just, let me put a little bit of, lick the finger so it'll stick. Let me taste some of this jalapeno dust that I've been hearing so much about. All right. My finger is very coated. Here we go. Wow. Okay. Well, this certainly has personality. Plus, first of all, I love jalapenos. I go to the store and I get fresh jalapenos every time I go to the store, and I put them in everything. I chice them up, I dice them up. Nothing zips up a salad quite like a bunch of diced little pieces of jalapeno. Oh boy, it's a build. It's kind of a build. It's not terribly. It's not so. Okay. Here we go. And now I'm going to domino sneeze because I do not sneeze just once. It's not like ridiculously hot. Here we go. It's not ridiculously hot so much that it ruins the taste of Jeff! This was all your plan to make me not be able to do a show. I think I put way too much on my finger, and now I've got way too much jalapeno in my nose and in my throat. And it's good, though. It is good. I would use that. I could see how that would be good as an everyday spice. If you like jalapeno and you like it on everything, I can see how that. I'm going to, I will definitely be using that. So thank you very much, Jeff Glenn. Happy birthday to me. All right, now let's move on. It's not my birthday. I'm going to sneeze. The over-under on sneezes for me. All right, from this point forward, let's place the over-under on 4 more sneezes. I say we're going to go over 4 more sneezes. There's one. All right, let's try and do the show. Oh boy. All right. Connie Jenkins is here. He's asking, Jeff, is it sold anywhere locally? Oh, God. JBM says, great, Jefferson Glenwright IV. Now you've set the bar for the rest of us. Yes, I will. In lieu of donations, I will take good vibes or any home spice blends that you've come up with. That's those are other ways to participate in the show. So thank you very much. This is going to go in a very important place in my spice. My buddy Ed, who does the, we talk about Ed. Ed's living over in the big house now. Ed, King Ed of Radio Misfits. He's quite the spiceologist himself. He's got a spice mix that I use every day that is more of a cayenne-based kind of a deal. But okay, that's it. I think I'm done. I think if you took the over on the how many more sneezes, I placed it at 4. I said I took the over. I think I might be done. I feel like I might be good. All right, let's get started with today's show. Today is high noon on the 24th. Well, it's not high noon. Let's be honest. It's 23 minutes after the hour. Let's get into it. July the 21st is the 202nd day of the year. There are 163 more days remaining until the end of the year. On this day in history, let's find out all the cool things that happened. Sorry, I'm still recovering from the jalapeno blast that I just coated on my finger. I gotta make sure it's all off my finger, lest I rub my eye. Woo! I'm sniffling now. My whole head is just filled with jalapeno dust. I'll survive. On this day in 1861, during the American Civil War, it was the first Battle of Bull Run. That's one of the big ones. I don't know a whole lot about the Civil War. I mean, look, when you compare it to people who are like, I'm an amateur Civil War historian, there are a lot of people like that. I mean, I know maybe, I don't know, I'm trying to think, like, how much does the average person know? Actually, about it? The average person, not your crazy uncle with the collection in the garage. What is the average person like? Oh, I think I'm about where the average person is as far as the battle in and battle out, stern and drama of the Civil War, right? I mean, I think that's pretty much, I know the basics. Bull Run was a big one on this day in 1861. On this day in 1865, in the market square of Springfield, Missouri, Wild Bill Hickok shoots and kills Davis Tutt in what is regarded as the first Western showdown. On this day in 1865, what happened in Springfield, Missouri. I was talking about Springfield, Missouri on the Pillow Talk show with James Parker. I've been to Springfield, hometown of Brad Pitt. I've been to Springfield a lot more than I should, just simply because of where it's located in the United States. It's like midway between Chicago and Dallas. So I would often stop in Springfield and just spend the night. Go to a local Chili's, if you will. 1873 in Adair, Iowa. Jesse James and the James Gang pull off the first successful train robbery in the American Old West. Boy, this is a big day for the American Old West in 1865 in Springfield, Missouri, the first showdown between Wild Bill Hickok and Davis Tutt. And then in 1873 in Adair, Iowa, the first train robbery by Jesse James and the James Younger Gang. On this day in 1919, a dirigible, the Wingfoot Air Express, crashes into the Illinois Trust and Savings Building in Chicago, killing 12. I mention this because this is kind of a cool, big story, the South Loop of Chicago, if you're familiar with over where like the stocks are, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange and all that stuff. It's right there on that street. This was during the White City Fair, the Chicago World's Fair of what year? Well, 1919. Let's or whatever, because this happened in 1919. And they would shuttle people, fairgoers, from the lakefront, which a little bit more north, the lakefront at the river where Navy Pier is. They were shuttling people from there about 2 or 3 miles down the lake to where the actual, I think Jackson Park is where the World's Fair was. So people were getting on a blimp and then they were just drifting over the city down the lakefront, and they would go and they would be dropped off at the Fair Park location, wherever the World's Fair was. Well, something happened here and this thing just crashed into a bank building in the middle of downtown Chicago at closing time. Here, the details, let me see. Maybe this Wikipedia should have the details because, I mean, why wouldn't they? First of all, it was filled with there was a bunch of passengers and, there were tourists and everything. And you know what happened when the thing caught fire? The thing caught fire at about 1,200 feet. Here you go. Okay, here's the crash. Oh, cool. We've got a breakdown of the crash. The airship's flammable hydrogen caught fire for unknown reasons at about 4:55 p.m. while cruising at an altitude of 1,200 feet over Chicago's Loop. When it became clear the dirigible was failing, pilot Jack Boatner and chief mechanic Harry Wacker used parachutes to jump to safety. The dude's flying it, bail. What happened to the captain goes down with the ship? I'm telling you, that's some bullshit programming. In real life, when push comes to shove, captain ain't going down with the ship. Captain is using all of his captain powers to stay alive. That's humanity. I know we aspire for greater things and greater notions, like the captain always goes down with the ship or women and children first. But I think humanity and our behavior over certainly the past couple of years has proven to me that stuff is all just lip service. That's all just bullshit. We are animals. We are apes. Captain goes down with the ship. When it became clear the dirigible was failing, pilot Jack Boatner and chief mechanic Harry Wacker used parachutes to jump to safety. A second mechanic, Carl Alfred Weaver, died when his parachute caught fire. Womp womp. Let's see here. All right, and then it crashed into the bank, and a bunch of people died, and a bunch of people that were on the plane died. But only 12. Well, by today's mass shooting standards, it is really only 12, isn't it? All right, that was on this day in 1919. On this day in 1925, the Scopes monkey trial in Dayton, Tennessee, high school biology teacher John T. Scopes is found guilty of teaching science. There you go. Human evolution. He was fined $100. That was it. The Scopes monkey trial. It was one of the biggest events in America. Everybody was fought. Trial of the century, they called it, because it would determine how we as a people sort of move forward, right? Like, were we going to believe in science? Were we going to believe and accept human evolution? Were schools going to teach human evolution or creationism? It was a big deal. And they went with the whole creationism. The trial did not end well for science. But ultimately, dude was charged $100, which I'm sure in 1925, $100 was a significant amount of money, but still. 1944, World War II, Klaus von Stauffenberg. We've come to know Klaus von Stauffenberg the past couple of days because he tried to kill Hitler yesterday, and today he was executed. Today, on this day in 1944, Klaus von Stauffenberg and 4 fellow conspirators are executed for the July 20th plot to assassinate Adolf Hitler. The movie Valkyrie with Tom Cruise, that's what I as going over it yesterday. I was like, oh yeah, this is the movie Valkyrie. So there you go. On this day in 1959, Elijah Jerry Pumpsy Green becomes the first African-American to play for the Boston Red Sox and the last team to integrate. He came in as a pinch hit runner for Vic Wertz and stayed in as a shortstop in a 2-1 loss to the Chicago White Sox. That was on this day in 1959. Jerry Pumpsy Green. No surprise. No, well, I mean, Atlanta didn't have a team yet, so it's no surprise that the Boston Red Sox would be the last team to integrate. Boston, historically racist. Let's see here. What else do we have? 1969, the Apollo program at approximately 2:56 UTC. What is UTC? I should know what UTC is. That's something I should know. I've seen it a lot throughout my life. What does UTC stand for? I know it's a different kind of time zone. Whatever. Astronaut Neil Armstrong becomes the first person to walk on the moon, followed 19 minutes later by Edwin Buzz Aldrin. That was on this day in 1969. Yesterday we landed, but apparently when the walk occurred, it was past midnight. On this day in 2011, NASA's space shuttle program ends with the landing of the space shuttle Atlantis at the Kennedy Space Center. All right. So I hate the space shuttle. I liked the space shuttle, like Columbia in 1980 when I first saw it go up and I was a little kid and I was like, okay, cool. But I'm a big NASA geek, having been born on July the 20th, been a NASA geek my whole life. I love it. I love all the documentaries. I love all the books. I love all the pictures. I love all of it. That's just kind of one of my jams. Been my thing my whole life. The space shuttle program killed NASA. It did. In my opinion, it killed NASA. It killed the nation's enthusiasm for NASA because with the space shuttle program, what happened was there was a big shift in the ideology and the thought process and the philosophies of what NASA was meant to be. NASA originally was about exploration. It was about man going where man has not gone. You know what I mean? It was about aspirational things. It was about pushing humanity to the limits and exploring what's next. We had conquered the known Earth. We had sailed the 7 seas. We had been to every corner. We knew what was happening here. So the next natural step for human adventurism was to see what else is out there. And that is what NASA was supposed to be about. Then technology, because of NASA, started to percolate in the 1970s and 80s, and even before then. And NASA recognized that, hey, wait a second, we can actually make some money off of this. And NASA went and started to become a commercial space agency. I mean, they started to serve the satellite industry. The space shuttle program was created for one reason and one reason only: not to go to the moon, not to push the limits of human exploration, but simply to deliver and repair satellites for commercial interests. That's all it was. And it was like 20 years of just a pickup truck with an American flag on it going back and forth to the space station, picking up broken satellites. That's all it was. And I'm sorry, but you're not going to galvanize the interests of the American public by doing day labor. And that's really what the shuttle program was. So when the shuttle program ended, it was because of, as with everything with NASA, funding. And why did the funding dry up for the shuttle program? Because the American people weren't interested in it. And when the American people weren't interested in something, their congressmen who represent them aren't going to feel compelled to vote for budgets for those things. So nobody was interested. It was boring. Congress started to not, the budget for NASA just went. And then for a bunch of years, we didn't even have rockets. For a space nerd like myself, have you any idea how embarrassing it had been for the past 15 years or so since, well, when did we end the program? When did we end the rocket? We ended the rocket program way before that. But you realize that American astronauts for the past decade or so have had to hitch rides to space with other countries who still have rocket programs, who still have rockets that can take men to places. We didn't have that. We discontinued our rocket program. Nobody cared. So for the past, decade or so, American astronauts have been flying with the Russians. They've been flying with the French. They've been flying with all these other countries that still have working manned programs. We've had, we got an idea. Can we hitch a ride up to the station? That's embarrassing. Now that is changing. We do have a rocket program again, and some good things are happening, and we'll see in the trends. But man, today, on this day in 2011, the shuttle program ended, and honestly, good riddance. Good riddance to this shuttle program. Please let the dog in. It's 105 degrees outside. All right, let's do some birthdays. Born on this day in 1924, American icon, American treasure, undeniable funny man, Don Knotts. Don Knotts born on this day. Don Knotts draft. I mean, I don't know, Mr. Furley and Barney, right? Barney Fife would be with the first pick in the Don Knotts draft. Barney Fife. With the second pick in the Don Knotts draft, Mr. Furley. With the third pick in the Don Knotts draft, Flubber. With the fourth pick in the I don't know what else. Love Boat Appearance 5. He was particularly good in his Love Boat Appearance 5. I don't know. I don't know what else Don Knotts did, but I know he was great, right? Who doesn't love Don Knotts? Born on this day in 1948, Cat Stevens, or shall I say Yusuf Islam. Cat Stevens, English singer-songwriter and guitarist, massive star in the 70s, especially during the singer-songwriter era. And then he converted and he became Muslim, and he started driving a cab in London. Well, there you go. Happy birthday to you, Cat Stevens, a.k.a. Yusuf Islam. Great singer-songwriter. I mean, it's not really my vibe, but I can get why people like him. Gary Trudeau, Doonesbury, right? He was born on this day in 1948. He's umbilical cousins with Cat Stevens. Robin Williams, born on this day in 1951, American actor and comedian, died, of course, in 2014. Now, Robin Williams would be a Robin Williams draft. We should, right? You'd think that'd be a natural. I can't do a Robin Williams draft. I have some issues with Robin Williams. Robin Williams was such a mega talent. He was such a he was an undeniably positive force, I think, for humanity. He was a good guy. He seemed to make everybody happy. He seemed to always be in a good. I'm sure he had his moments, but he was dealing with some stuff. He had long been, known as a guy who had depression, and as somebody who also has depression, I always kind of thought, Robin, because people knew Robin Williams had depression. They didn't know he had Lewy body, or did he have Lewy body? Because Lewy body disease was supposedly what had him in this depressive spiral, his diagnosis that he had Lewy body. And then they say after he died that maybe he didn't. So maybe it was all just a mistake and his depression was triggered by a mistake, which is just a terrible thing. But I don't want to do a Robin Williams draft. It always bums me out when I think about it. And now I'm thinking about it. So let's try and move on. Also born on this day in 1955, Howie Epstein, American bass player, songwriter, member of the Heartbreakers. Howie Epstein was one of the primary members of the Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. He was the guitar player, or was he a bass player? Was he a guitar player? I think he was a guitar player. Was he a bass player? I don't know. He's a bass player. He was a bass player. Okay, it says that's what I thought. I'm like, okay, he wasn't the bass. Howie Epstein died. He was a party boy. Party. He was the real rock star of the old Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers from the 70s and the 80s, and he paid the price. He died. Howie Epstein died in 2003, born on this day in 1955. Born on this day in 1957, John Lovitz, American comedian, actor, and producer. John Lovitz, tier two. I am an SNL historian. And part of the way that I compartmentalize all of the different cast members throughout the generations of Saturday Night Live is I have a 3-tier system. I have first tier, second tier, third tier. Third tier are, who's the third? Who's third tier for me? I'm trying to think of somebody who's third tier, somebody who's completely, I can't even think of it. Denny Dillon. There you go. Denny Dillon is a good example of a third tier SNL cast member. Eddie Murphy is a good example of a tier 1 Saturday Night Live. Joe Piscopo might be a fine example of a tier 2 Saturday Night Live personality. John Lovitz, tier 2, right? Because he had The Liar. Yeah, that's the ticket. Yeah. Tommy Flanagan, that was a big guy. He had a couple of things and he did a couple of movies. He is probably middle to lower end of tier 2 in the history of Saturday Night Live, at least in my estimation. Middle to low end of tier 2. Close to tier 3, but nah. Denitra Vance is another tier 3. Denitra Vance. Denny Dillon, Denitra Vance, your Brad Halls, who Brad Hall, interestingly enough, Brad Hall, tier 3 Saturday Night Live cast member, married to an A-list superstar American treasure in Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who in her own right is only a tier 2 SNL player. Julia Louis-Dreyfus, she's went on to be a massive star, but in the history of SNL, if we're compartmentalizing the contributions made by cast members over the years, Julia Louis-Dreyfus is tier 2 and maybe even lower end of tier 2. Who else has a birthday today? CC Sabathia. Is he still up there on the Mount Farting Dust? CC Sabathia, American baseball player. Born on this day in 1980. What would he be, 40, 42 today? Is CC Sabathia still out there somewhere? He's in the Pilgrims League throwing no-hitters. He'll be back in the majors. Let's see here. Who else is someone? Oh, here's a good one. Born on this day in 1989. This will be the last birthday of the day. Born on this day in 1989. Just an absolute doll. Juno Temple. Juno Temple is celebrating. Just what a doll Juno Temple is. Do you guys know who Juno Temple is? Juno Temple is she's the daughter of Julian Temple, English music video director and film director and artist. Julian Temple, he was big in the 80s. Juno Temple is his daughter. Juno Temple is probably best known and has gotten the most attention for being Keely on Ted Lasso. If you watch Ted Lasso, Keely is the Instagram model who dates all the players, who's kind of a whore. You would think that about her, but then you get to know the character and you're like, oh, no, this girl might be a whore and good for her. She knows what she's doing. She is large and in charge. I love Juno Temple, playing a strong character who doesn't give a shit about your judgments regarding her sexuality. She is who she is, and she's loving life. Happy birthday, Juno Temple, and keep playing Keely. I love me some Keely. My son loves Keely. He's 13 years old. What's not to love when you're 13, right? Deaths on this day. We had a couple of deaths. Dead on this day in 1998. Well, this is like Space Guy Week, so this is sort of appropriate. Alan Shepard died today. American admiral, pilot, astronaut, Shep.
One of the original. No, wait, was he? Yeah, he was a Mercury. Alan Shepard's a Mercury guy. Okay, so Mercury, Gemini, Apollo astronauts. He was. I want it. Alan Shepard, was he all three? I know he came in with Mercury, but was he also a Gemini, or Gemini? Depends on where you're from in the country, I guess, how you pronounce it. Was he a Gemini and an Apollo astronaut as well? I don't know. Anyway, happy birthday to you. Honest to God, true grit American hero Alan Shepard died on this day in 1998. He was born in 1923. Also dead on this day in 1998, another American icon. But I bet if you're under 30 years old, you have never heard of Robert Young. If you're under 35, if you're under 40, you may have never heard of Robert Young. Robert Young was he was Marcus Welby. It was like a TV show that everybody loved back in the 60s and early 70s. And he played, kindly Dr. Marcus Welby. Robert Young died on this day in 1998. Fun fact about Robert Young, he's one of these Hollywood actors who came from the dark ages of Hollywood where all of their deepest, darkest secrets were kept, out of the spotlight. It was all about their image on the screen or on the tube or however it was that they were concocted to come across to the American great unwashed. And then they die, and nobody reported any of the bad stuff because there were arrangements back then. Gossip wasn't really, gossip was something you got stung with because you weren't playing ball. But if you played ball, you could keep your nonsense out of the pages. That was the way it was. When he died, oh my God, did the floodgates open. Apparently, he was an abusive alcoholic. Apparently, Dr. Marcus Welby, America's favorite doctor, the sweetest old man on the planet, was not a nice guy. And that all came out after he died. But, whatever. If you choose to remember him as Marcus Welby, go in peace. Whatever you need to do. That's it. Dead on this day in 2016. This one seems like kind of a shock and seemed like it came pretty early. Dennis Green, American football coach and player. Man, I go back with Dennis Green all the way to, I want to say, the late 1970s. I remember when Dennis Green was his first coaching job, Northwestern University football there in the Chicago area when I was a little kid. Dennis Green was the coach of the Wildcats. And then what did he do? Then he bounced around. Then I think he got into the NFL. Was Dennis Green the first black coach or one of the first black coaches? I think maybe Art Shell was the first black head football coach. Art Shell with the Raiders. And then Dennis Green came in. Dennis Green may have been the second black football coach. Minnesota, then went to Arizona. He was a good coach. He had competitive teams. I mean, he never had he never made it to the Super Bowl. He didn't win a Super Bowl. Did he make it to the Super Bowl? I don't think he did. But he had competitive teams in both Minnesota and Arizona for a period of time. I don't know, Dennis Green. Dennis Green, famous for his YouTube screaming press conference after a Monday Night Football game in which my Chicago Bears defeated his coached Arizona Cardinals. And I believe, isn't this the one where he says, the Bears are who we thought they were. You want to crown them? Then go ahead and crown them. And that was a particularly great Monday Night Football game, too. The Cardinals were whipping the Bears' ass by 20 points going into the fourth quarter. And then there was a whole bunch of crazy plays, and the defense, Urlacher and Briggs just went nuts. And then Devin Hester returned a missed field goal that Devin Hester returned. Anyway, it was an amazing game. And the Bears on Monday Night Football in overtime came back to win the game after being written off in the fourth quarter as the game being over. And Dennis Green lost his shit in the post-game press conference. Dennis Green died on this day in 2016. All right, let's get into what's trending. What are the big stories? What's happening today? What are people buzzing about? First, right out of the box, Biden. Yesterday, Biden had cancer. Biden has cancer was trending. Today, he has COVID. Only one of those two diagnoses are true, at least to the best knowledge that I've been able to come across today. He does not have cancer. That was just a truly terrible hashtag that people got trending yesterday because, soulless ghouls that occupy the land that we share, they really don't have any taste and apparently have never been touched by cancer. So it's the sort of thing they feel comfortable making fun of and making light of. So Biden has cancer. Not true. That was trending yesterday, but he does have COVID. The President of the United States has tested positive for COVID, says that he is experiencing mild symptoms. He is going to isolate there. His schedule has been cleared. Jill Biden, close contact, is also isolating. And that's it. Started with a dry cough last night. Dude is old, but he's super vaxxed. And so, you don't expel, but he's super old. See, that's the problem. If you're all vaxxed up and you get it, and then, again, do we need to go over the rules, folks? Okay. The vaccination isn't a force field. Okay. It doesn't stop you from getting it. It doesn't. How did he get it if he got the vax? Oh, you don't understand how these things work, do you? But if he got the vax, how did he get it? Yo, God. Okay. Just go sit in the corner. Go. You're not smart. It's a seatbelt, right? This is what I've been saying forever. The vaccine is a seatbelt. If you drive your car into a wall at 100 miles per hour, okay, and you're not wearing a seatbelt, that wall is coronavirus, okay? You're not wearing a seatbelt, you're probably gonna die. But if you're wearing a seatbelt, you're still gonna hit that wall. You're still gonna get banged up, but it won't be as bad. That's all. It's a seatbelt. And although he's wearing his seatbelt and he's double boosted and all, he's still like 100. I mean, he's still like old. Old people just don't do well when they get sick. It like triggers other things. So we'll see how this goes. Let's see. What is this now? January 6th is trending. Oh boy, they're expecting it to be a wang dang to leave a barn burner tonight. Prime time is once again interrupted by the January 6th committee looking into today. Today they're going to focus exclusively, I understand, on the 187 minutes that went by as and what President Trump was doing in those 187 minutes. Let's see here. The House January 6th committee aims to show in what could be its final hearing Thursday night that Donald Trump's lies about a stolen election fueled the grisly U.S. Capitol attack, which he did nothing to stop, but instead gleefully watched on television at the White House. Tonight's primetime hearing will dive into the 187 minutes that Trump failed to act on January 6th, despite pleas from aides, allies, and even his family. The panel is arguing that the defeated president's attempts to overturn the election victory by Joe Biden have left the United States facing enduring questions about the resiliency of its democracy. Yeah, tell me about it. I have no faith in this democracy anymore. I mean, I have faith in the mechanism of our American democracy. I do not have faith in the current breed of human that is occupying this country to interpret and to operate the mechanism properly. See, there's a big difference there. I don't believe that American democracy is broken. I believe that the con men and the manipulators and the bad actors who basically run everything now will manipulate the system in order to, serve their own interests. That's my concern. I'm not concerned about America. This is a failure of humanity, not a failure of Jefferson's vision. This is, excuse me. It's a failure on our part. We're the bad people. This blanket user manual on how to try and do this great American experiment is not a living document. We, the humans who interpret it and then put it to use and try to operate the system, we're the ones. It's on us. So with live testimony from two former House aides and excerpts from the committee's more than 1,000 interviews, tonight's session will add a closing chapter to the past 6 weeks of hearings that at times have captivated the nation and provided a record for history. All right, there you go. That's the history. I'll be watching. I will be watching tonight. But we won't be talking about it on Pillow Talk because that's not what we do on Pillow Talk. Pillow Talk, Monday through Thursday, 9 p.m. Central Time. We'll talk about current events and stuff that's going on, but I will not get into any political conversations about January 6th other than to say it's trending, and that's why, because it's on TV tonight. Secret Service is trending. Secret Service is trending in conjunction with the January 6th. The January 6th committee members had subpoenaed all of the text messages that were being passed along between Secret Service agents during those aforementioned 187 minutes. So during the 187 minutes where people are saying former President Trump failed to act in the best interest of the country, this is what it's all about. What did he do? Did he encourage it? Did he help it? Did he fan the flames? Or did he do his level best to try and create calm and protect the nation, which is his job. So that's what they're looking into. So what they want is they want to know what the Secret Service was saying to each other during these 187 minutes, because apparently the Secret Service agents are like 13-year-old girls and they gossip. And there have been a lot of accusations made by people who were in the Trump administration. And again, all of these people that you're seeing, these are not liberals. These are not libtards. These are people who have like been on Alex Jones. These are people who are crazy, hardcore MAGA people who are being brought in front of Congress to say what happened. And look, whatever. That's all I'm saying. It's not like they went out and got like, Nancy Pelosi's dinner party guests and just brought them all out to testify. These are all people who were there. So everything that has been testified to in these hearings has been testified to not by known and sworn enemies of MAGA or the Trump administration, but by people who were there, people who were his spokespeople, people who were his advisors. That's what we're looking at here. So what they want is they want to see what the Secret Service was saying during these 187 minutes. Were they showing any concern amongst themselves? There have been allegations that, remember, the Trump pushed or punched an agent and attempted to grab the wheel of a vehicle that they were driving. He wanted to take me to the Capitol. Trump wanted to go there and rally the troops. And they said, no, you can't. And apparently he took a swing at one of the agents in the Beast, the vehicle he rolls around in, took a swing at one of the agents in the Beast, and then he lunged for the steering wheel. These were all things that were testified to. So let's get the Secret Service's text messages. Did a Secret Service agent text to another agent? This crazy MFer just tried to grab the wheel. POTUS just took a poke at, agent so-and-so. I mean, are any of these things around? Is there anything from the Secret Service that they witnessed that they may have documented via text or email? Is there anything that can be used to sort of justify some of the things we've heard from people who were theoretically, from what they say, eyewitnesses to these events? Well, all of those texts in those 187 minutes from the Secret Service, they're missing. Go inky dink. It just so happens. I was texting this weekend with my daughter at college. I've got 45 minutes of text of those. Would you like to see them? No, we want to see the 187 minutes on January 6, 2020. 2021? Yeah, whatever. We want to see the 187 minutes. No, I don't have those. I can show you my text with my daughter, but no, the specific 187 minutes, they're wiped from the server. There's no way to ever find. So that's a little sketchy. So the Secret Service and leadership of the Secret Service is being questioned today, and that's why the Secret Service is trending yet again. In Secret Service related news, Alabama, that's right. We all know Florida man. Meet his goofy cousin. Alabama man was trending earlier today, and here's why. The Secret Service have they arrested him? Wait a second. Downloading. Yeah, Byron, they are with Hillary's emails, which I find hysterical because all you people screaming about Hillary's email, why aren't you screaming about this? And why isn't, while we're at it, why aren't we screaming about how Jeffrey Epstein's security camera in his cell just happened to go dark when he killed him? Come on, man. If you don't recognize that we're being manipulated by all sides for other people's personal gain, stop it. There is no team. There's just us. Every one of them are the enemies. It's just us. Alabama man. Related Secret Service content here. An Alabama man has been charged with threatening President Joe Biden in a call to the White House. This, according to federal authorities. A criminal complaint filed by the United States Secret Service alleges that John Andrew Bazer Jr., 37, of Mobile, Alabama, called the White House switchboard on July 10th and made death threats towards the president. He was arrested on Monday in Mobile, South Alabama. Okay. I mean, there's so many stupid indicators going off on this guy's dashboard right now. Does he not know that, like none of you think you could call the White House and say, I'm going to do this to the president and it'd be okay, right? I mean, we all we all, even the dumbest of us, kind of know that that's not, they're probably recording these calls and that's something that's taking. What an idiot. Alabama man. Hey, I tell you what, I'm going to come down there and I'm going to punch him right in the nose. Well, Alabama man, you'll probably go to prison. You will probably go to prison. You know why? Because you're ginned up absurd hatred for somebody that's got you threatening the assassination of a president of the United States. Whoever ginned you up, they're not going to be there when you're in some hot Alabama courtroom in a couple of months. You're going to jail, idiot. You're going to jail because somebody ginned you up, got you all nuts, and then you did something stupid, and they're not going to be there for you when you need to make bail. Look, nobody from Newsmax is going to bail you out, dude. You're not getting bailed out. None of your Q friends are going to rally for you and take up. You're not. You're going to jail. You're going to have a shit lawyer because obviously you're a dummy. So I can't imagine that you have any money to speak of. You're going to get a shit lawyer. You're going to take a plea bargain. You threaten to kill the president of the United States in the dumbest way possible, and you're going to pay for it. So there you go. Go cool out in your jail cell. You'll probably do about 18 months. So it's Alabama, man, you dummy. Heat wave. Oh, jeez. Because we're going to have a heat wave. I'm so done. I am so done. All right, let's play heat wave poker. Well, you guys in the chat room. All right, let's play heat wave poker. I'll give you a few minutes. Tell me what it says. What's the temperature in your town? I want to know the temperature and I want to know your town, okay? Temperature and town that you're in right now, according to your cell phone. High score wins. Let's play heat wave poker. Here we go. I'll count to 5 and then 5, 4, because there's a delay. You people are just hearing this now. So again, check your phone. I want you to put in the chat room what your temperature is currently according to your phone and where it is that you're listening, what town. And we're going to play a little bit of heat wave poker. Here we go. Heat wave. Poker. Okay, here we go. Oh, nobody's playing? Oh, that was more than enough time. Fine. Then we're going to move on. Really? Really, nobody's playing. I got 99 degrees right now in Highland Park at 12:59 p.m. So 91 in Denton, 91 in Denton. Why is it always so much hotter here? 96 in North Richland Hills, 96. 96 in Farmers Branch, 96 in Dallas. Melissa's got 96 in Dallas. Hold on, let me refresh this. Hold on. Oh, I'm sorry. That was earlier. That was earlier this morning. Let's get here. We go. Refresh. In Highland Park. 7. Did I still heat wave poker? Yeah, so far. So let's look at the current live temps. This is something fun. James Parker. The live wave. Let's see where the hotspot is. Yesterday, the hotspot was Death Valley. Like, yeah, okay. Now, if you told me the hotspot was Akron, Ohio, now you got my attention. By far is Death Valley. Then yeah, that seems about right. Oh, sorry. Stuff. Map. That'd be an interesting